Hey, Juventini, welcome back to the All Juve Cast channel, where it's all Juve all the time, and it's victory morning here. 4-1, Juve getting the job done against Sampdoria, and we are going to tackle this one and have a lot of fun doing it because it was a fun watch. I think a lot of us were saying, "Where's the Juventus I've come accustomed to seeing? Who is this Juve?" What a fun watch. And here to cover it, we've got Lex and Francisco. How are you guys doing? Ready to go?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Okay. There's a nice score line for everybody to check out. We've got a ton in the chat already. And you know what? It's always great starting off a show with comments like this. Okay, been listening to the podcast for a while. Stumbled upon the pre-match stream halfway through yesterday and enjoying all the work you guys are putting in. Much appreciated. Thank you very much for all the support, everybody. Bob, good morning, my friend. Always in here. Okay, Bob, getting everybody pumped up and hyped up ready. He's our chat hype guy. He's always in here. Okay, love it. But yeah, let's get straight to business with this match. Okay, we're going to talk about the lineup because the lineup came out and you had some people not so happy with it, just in the sense that they expected more of the young guys to start right out of the gate. I want to get your guys' thoughts on the lineup, which we'll basically go through it here. Was Perin, DeCilio, Danilo making his return, which was awesome to see. Okay. And then Rugani, Sandro, Quadrado, Locatelli, Artur, Rabiot with Kulusevski and Morata. That's the start of the match. Now, for me, everything was good. I like the fact that we were going to see Locatelli and Artur in there together. And outside of that, really, I didn't have any issues. I thought maybe Caio Jorge would get a start finally. And we knew that we had some more youngsters in the Convocati. They were on the team sheet, which was Miretti, Sule, and Ake. So I don't know if I was necessarily upset that none of them really started, but I thought Caio Jorge was going to get a start here because we still don't really know, I think, what we have in this kid. So that was my only weird kind of feeling about the starting lineup, was not having him in, but I expected him to get maybe the entire second half if we were going to feel comfortable and see what was going to happen, because we had to remember that Sampdoria was without a coach, number one. They got rid of their coach, I think, the day before this match, fired their coach. And then they were just depleted lineup, right? So losing almost all their key guys. So, Francisco, did you expect Caio Jorge to get the start? How did you feel about the lineup? And then we'll get Lex's thoughts here.
I thought about it, but I wasn't surprised that he didn't start because obviously Allegri is trying to manage the two strikers, like trying to give minutes to Keane, trying to give minutes to Morata. So I would have wanted to see Caio, but I wasn't surprised that he didn't play. Like he didn't start the game. It wasn't like a shocker. And with the lineup, it, it was okay for me because that's what we wanted, rotations. I do have to say I didn't thought that Allegri was going to play Arthur and Locatelli together. And 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 when he did it, I was like, it's a good idea because it's a match in which you're gonna rotate. Like try it. If you're gonna try it in what match, try it today. So he tried it and it went well, I think. So maybe he has more confidence in that duo on the midfield and for the future. Obviously,
Yeah.
I think McKennie should be this other guys playing if you're going to play with those three midfielders, but that's another a topic for another day.
Yeah.
But I wasn't surprised, and frankly, it was a good lineup, and that's what we had.
Yeah. So no surprises there for Francisco. Lex, what did you think? Surprised to not see him?
I agree with both of you. I wasn't surprised. I didn't expect him to start. Like when I saw reports saying that he was going to start, I was shocked. But I mean, I wish that we saw more of him. I think he got subbed in like the 82nd minute. So that's been unfortunate. Like, I really feel like I don't have a good gauge of the player and his effectiveness for us because we haven't given him enough time on the field. And but other than that, the lineup in terms of rotation, in terms of resting some legs for the Milan game, which is a really big game this weekend. Yeah, I didn't have too many problems with it, and especially like you said, it was against Sampdoria that just recently sacked their coach. So yeah, I was fine with it.
All right. Now, Hanin coming in here with Kaio needs to go on loan. This isn't healthy for his development. Real quick, without thinking, should we loan out Kaio?
At this rate, yes.
It's hard not to say yes if this is what we're going to be giving the kid, right? Especially
Yes.
like Coppa Italia match against an absolutely depleted Sampdoria, which it showed in the match. We have to be honest. While we're excited about our play, this Sampdoria was very, very poor. But
Yeah, and I have to say, in fairness to the guy, he has shown good things. So I do think that if Juventus is open to loaning Kyle something in Serie A, I would say yes. I truly believe because the kid he hasn't played bad the minutes that he had. That he has some talent. So there are some teams from the bottom that should gladly take the guy, and he will get some playing time, which is what he needs.
yeah. Lex, think we need to loan him out?
Yeah, like Francisco said, at this point, like if this is the playing time we're going to be giving him just for his own development and confidence on the pitch, and like you said, he's shown some really good moments when we've had him on the field, and so I think teams would take him. But yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think we're all on the same page there. Now, KM saying wasn't able to watch a match. How did Kaio and Ake play? We will get to that. We'll get to that in the player performances review side of things. Okay. Now, real quick, I get so excited sometimes to talk about these victories that I forgot the business end of things. So if you're listening to the podcast on audio, get over to YouTube, subscribe, join the live chat. Okay. We'll try and make sure that we cut down Lucci and Luca so they don't, drive you too crazy. But yeah, get over here where all the fun takes part. Okay. Check out Striped Hearts Apparel. Go to stripedheartsapparel.com. That's a sponsor. Okay. A ton of custom Juve gear and Azzurri gear as well. Now, highlights, everybody. Check out the highlights. So we didn't have to wait too long. And it was a free kick. When's the last time we scored on a free kick? You guys remember?
No,
I don't actually remember, so I don't have an answer. I was just asking you, hoping you knew. But
I think
yeah, we scored on a free kick here. Did you think the keeper had to grab this one? I was like shocked it went in after seeing it. Took a little bit of a deflection at the line, but man, he was right there. I was surprised he let it go. Were you?
Yes, because there was a deflection, but the ball didn't move like drastically.
Yeah.
Change decision, and he was already like going for that side. Which if he just went to that side, he would have covered. So
Yeah.
that one is on the keeper. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I have to agree. Lex,
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
gotta stop that one. But we'll take it. 1-0
Yeah.
Juve, let's go. Here, you got a nice back and forth between Quad and Morata. Morata finishes beautifully with the keeper just staring. But last celebrations cut short. Rabiot through Rincon, called back to 1-0. Ends up at half at 1-0. And that's okay, though. We get back here. Artur putting a ball into our deadly aerial threat and attacker Rugani, who buries 2-0. The Rugani Selly, fantastic. Let's go. First Coppa Italia goal ever for Juve. Then 2-1. We get a couple substitutions after that 2-0 goal. Okay. But Conte, remember this kid? Conte? Hell of a strike here. Had way too much room, but that was a hell of a hit. Credit where credit's due. Fantastic strike. Posting in. No chance for Pedin. And 2-1 all of a sudden. That's okay, though. because Locatelli says, I got this. Dybala enters the match. Beautiful interception there from Locatelli. Must be said, awful of the Sampdoria player to put his teammate under like that. But Locatelli pounces on Dybala, absolutely smashes this thing short side, 3-1. And he chooses to celebrate this one. Fantastic. That makes everybody happy. Okay, so Dybala with the nice celebration. And then Ake, who came in like a bull in a china shop, just wanting to take everybody on, and he was looking good. Draws the PK here, and Morata ends up stepping up, burying it. 4-1. Business is done. Let's get out of here. Fantastic showing. Okay, and now the Landucci in discussions start to take place, and I have to laugh at those. Okay, we like to do it for fun on the team here on social media and whatnot, but we all know, okay, that this is still Max. It's still Max. So, and we'll talk about this. We'll get into all this, but first, of course, we have to go through some player performances, what we saw in our summaries and everything. And again, it plays in part for me that, you know, it's still Max. This match showed me that it's more who takes a pitch and how they're being used. Okay, but this was a good victory for Juve. Danilo getting minutes, okay, getting back, that was good. The fact that he could do it against an opponent that was depleted is actually better. You could see throughout his minutes there that the timing wasn't quite there, and he needs to get that back. So right now, the confidence in him in a big match probably isn't where it should be, just because he's got to get that timing back. I wish for that the match would have been a little bit more contested, just in terms of timing and sharpness for Danilo. But
no,
don't get me wrong. Okay, Francisco's a little scared there. I'm not as scared. We would have got the job done, but a little bit more, and I'll show you why. I'll show you why.
No. We have a lot of contested matches this season. I wanted one easy one.
Listen, it's okay. He got a run in, but that was like, I bet you they train harder than that match. Okay, so let's take it easier. Danilo was good. Getting some of the young guys minutes. Kyle Jorge did not get enough minutes. I would have liked him to see. He came in very late. I don't even think he got 15 minutes worth of time. Ake was very, very impressive. He was an exciting youngster to get in there. The guys scoring goals. Morata needs to score goals. Okay, scored. Dybala's firing, got another one. Locatelli and Artur, what we've been asking for, it looks very, very well. And it compensates for, even in this, an awkward 4-4-2 hybrid scenario, they still make up for that because of what they can do. Again, though, I'm left wanting more out of Kulusevski in the minutes that he did get. And this is the part that's frustrating, because we have to get this guy going. DeScilio and Rugani, though, man, they continue to just do their job. That's my summary. I'm happy with everybody, happy with everything. We've got the building blocks. Again, the follow-up. Real quick, Lex, your thoughts on this one and your summary?
Yeah, I agree with pretty much everything you mentioned. That's kind of what I took away from the game as well. I thought that, sure, it was an easier side, and we spoke about that earlier, but I thought that it was a good win. It was a good win for us. I think we went out and we did what we had to do and what we needed to do. We got the job done easily. And so I think that we did it while being able to manage minutes for certain players in anticipation of this weekend's match. So I think, as we talked about, the Landucci jokes, it's like, it's funny to just say that it's kind of coincidental or ironic that the games that he happened to be coaching, we scored 4 goals each game in. And obviously, as you mentioned, Allegri and Landucci are a coaching team, and they work together and make game plans together and decisions together. So that's also Max, and it's Allegri still. But I think we're fortunate that we have an assistant coach that can step in and do well for us. And like you mentioned, I think it's more personnel that was playing. Like both games that we happened to have Landucci in, we had the Arthur Loca duo featured. at some point in the game. And in this case, it was from the beginning. And I think that just played a huge role in our midfield. Like, Arthur on the ball is great on the ball, especially moving it along the back line, transitioning it forward. I thought that Locatelli was fantastic yesterday. We'll get more into individuals' performances later, but yeah, exactly. That's what I had taken away from it as well, and would have liked to see more of Caio for sure, just because of the opportunity that we had, given that it was a Coppa Italia match. We were in control of it, but that would be my match review.
There you go. And Francisco, your thoughts?
I agree with what Lex said. I have to say, I thought that that goal from Sampdoria prevented the youngsters from getting in a little earlier. I think that it was like, well, let's just finish the game first, and then we go give those minutes to the youngsters. Once we went out for one, then the game was sealed. So we started giving those minutes. Disappointed about Kulu. I think that these are the minutes, the games in which you need to try your best and try things. And if they don't go well, that happens. But try it, at least try it. And he was so uh, like timid. He didn't try enough things, and that was the thing that scares me. That he's losing the sense of trying new things, risking, which is one of his at the end of the day one of his main things, the style he plays. If he doesn't risk it and he always playing safe, that's not good. On the contrast, we saw, obviously not comparing the two players, but we saw the youngster Ake coming in, and he was taking the risk. And many times I always say, uh, young guys coming to these type of games, they say, "Oh, these are garbage minutes. They don't matter." So they just cruise throughout the game, and they don't take the opportunity. At the end of, I was talking to all before the pod, and I was saying, the big man is watching you. You have the coach seeing you. This is a televised game. You're playing in front of the fans. Try it. Try it. Do you think that before the game, Ake was thinking that we were going to talk that much about him? Maybe no, but he said, "This is my chance. This is my opportunity. I will grab the bull by the horns." And he tried, and obviously the game was done, and obviously Sampdoria was playing like crap, but it has to be said, he tried new things. He was trying to associate. He was trying to go one on one, and right now maybe he's not being thought out as a starter, obviously, but in the back of the mind of Allegri, he's thinking, "Oh, I have this kid that maybe he can get some more minutes in the future. He's not. He's a good. He has talent, and we are all speaking about him. Why? Because he took the risk and he tried things, and frankly, he was doing some sweet things. I have to say that the Italians fans were going in Spanish mode, saying "Ole," and so I was happy with that. I
Yeah.
was happy with that.
There you go. Yeah. So yeah, breaking things down a lot there in terms of Kulu and then Ake and whatnot. But we are going to get to Kulu because there's a lot of comments here about just it's time to move him, time to sell him, and chat brings up something that we will lead the discussion with once we get through our man of the match. And I think Kulu has found his level at a smaller club. One good performance and the odd goal assist every 4 games is enough. Not at Juve. Very, very interesting. We will break things down. We have to get to our Striped Hearts apparel sponsored man of the match. This was a interesting one to try and pick man of the match because everybody was going all over the place with their man of the match. So we'll put up some of the contenders. Arthur had a good showing. He was up there. Okay, so you see 75 minutes played, had an assist, 103 touches. 86 accurate passes for just shy of 93%. 3 key passes. 1 cross that went in for the goal. Long balls 1. Had a shot, went off target, whatnot. But yeah, good showing. Ground duels 1 for a guy who's not good defensively. 4 for 4. Hey, not bad. Not bad, Arthur. Let's see who else we got. Locatelli. So a full 90. That one kind of surprised me with Milan coming up, and obviously was not necessary to have him in for a full 90, but nonetheless, full 90 for him. An assist, obviously on Dybala's goal there, 101 touches. So you had him with 101, Artur with 103. They were just bossing things as expected to. Again, he had the same, just shy, like 92.9% pass, actually key passes, 6 key passes. Yeah, just a great game. Ground duels, 5 for 11 there. He was really everywhere. Possession lost number very, very high, which is shocking. I don't actually, yeah, is what it is, but he was solid. He's up there. Quadrado's up there, 75 minutes, scoring the goal on the free kick there. Again, 94 touches, heavily involved. You can see on the heat map there where he dominated his wing there. So he's in there. Rugani's in there for a solid showing. He was being called by a lot of people. I just want to go on the record by saying I wish this match was a little more contested, Francisco, and you jumped up. Here's why. This is our center back. Zeros right here in this column right here. 0 tackles, 0 drill pass, 0 interceptions, 0 block shots, 0 clearances. We could have been tested a little bit more for Danilo's sake, but Rugani scored a big goal. That ended up being the game winner. He's in there. Who do you pick for your man of the match? We're going to start this one with Lex. Lex, who's your man of the match pick for this match?
I've got to go with Locatelli. I know probably popular one, but he just ran a clinic in the midfield yesterday. He was fantastic. Doing things on the field in the midfield that we haven't seen since, in my opinion, since the likes of like Marchisio, Pirlo, and it's beautiful to watch. He had that flick over the Sampdoria player. I think it was in our own end. And that just piece of skill was beautiful. I thought he had a great match. I think Quadrado deserves a shout too, because he was a great attacking threat. And I thought he ran at Sampdoria all game for us yesterday, and he played well too. But I'm going to go with Locatelli.
Locatelli for Lex. Frankie.
You're going to witness the start of a club that I'm beginning today. It's the lockdown club. It's going to only take into consideration defenders. So I'm going with Rugani. I don't care about the zeros. Don't care. It doesn't matter. The lockdown club has spoken. They say Rugani is the man of the match.
There you go.
No.
So
water.
Rugani for Frankie. We got Loca for Lex. Lewis coming in here with Juan for him. And for me, wipe all these guys out. The entire team. Everybody. I'm giving everybody man match. I was just happy with the performance. I was happy to see fluidity in our play. And I loved it. I had a tough time even going with it. If I had to give the edge to somebody, for me, it would just be Loca. And I'm biased, of course, because I'm a midfielder myself. So I always usually tend to go to the midfielders. Frankie's the defender, loves to go to the defenders. It's all making sense. Lex, attacking mid. Yeah, we get it. We could see where everybody usually lies there. But all these guys were good shows. They all had solid performances. It's just, it was a great game to watch. The fluidity was there. And again, the discussions became, what was it? Was it again Landucci? That's 8 goals in 2 showings. I got to say, we kind of, Lex and I both kind of touched on it. Look, there's no way just because Max isn't on the sideline, all of a sudden he just says, okay, well, I'm going to go relax for a couple days. Landucci, this is all you. Take it easy. No, they've been working. They work together side by side, and they always have. They prepared everything the same way. And I can tell you, probably with the substitutions, that those are even kind of Max's subs in certain situations. The Roma one, you might say, was not. I could probably see Landucci freewheeling on those subs, given the circumstances. Yesterday, being in control, the fact that Kyle George only came in like the 82nd minute, that's got Max written all over it, if you ask me. But he's still, again, for me, it's more who they put out there and how they use them, and we can't kid ourselves. Sampdoria was awful. Okay. Like, they were bad. They were missing a lot of guys. I don't care at the end of the day, though, because a win's a win. We're scoring goals, and we need to get rolling for Milan on the weekend. But the Landucci thing, whatnot, there's no way Max isn't involved in these setups. We have to understand that. Is there anything you guys want to add to this thing with this Landucci before we move on to the next topic? Anything?
It's good to happen. So you see communication between the two, and that's important at the end of the day. If something happens and you have Landucci who can step in, you don't change completely from your playing before, because you do have a guy who is communicating with Max, who understands what Max has, what he needs, what the team has. And usually those second coaches have more, you can say, a better relation with the players, because they are the ones who are speaking with them more. I usually do see him having a better relation, in the sense that they usually are the soft ones, in the sense they are the ones, like, if the coaches screams to a player, they are the ones that go to the player and go, come on, man, you know how it is. You maybe need to try a little harder. So that's why I do like that we speak about the second guy and give him his flowers. But we need to understand, obviously, Allegri is the man.
Yeah, absolutely. Lex, anything to touch on there?
Yeah, not much to add there.
Yeah.
Just kind of like I said on the last pod after the Roma game, is that, like, essentially there's a game plan that they more or less come up with together and follow. And like you said, Al was going to mention that too. I think the only argument you could have where it was more so his direct influence was probably the Roma game substitutions, just given that we kind of unexpectedly went down 3-1. And so in that moment, it's kind of like game plan's out the window. Now we have to like deal with the situation. But yeah, otherwise it's a team effort for sure from both
Absolutely.
coaches.
Now, Kulusevski, we kind of dove into a little bit, and a lot of people are making comments. Jat, of course, made his comment saying that we found Kulusevski's level, which is not that of Juve's. Real quick, want to get your thoughts on that. I put out a statement the second Chiesa went down, and I said this is last chance for Kulusevski, because he's going to start ramping up in minutes, and he needs to make his impression felt. So far, it's been, again, what we've gotten out of Kulusevski, which is just underwhelming for the most part, and he's not making impacts the way he needs to. I see him as a player that's caught between several positions, not really able to excel in any one of them, for us anyways. And I'm ready to make the move, I think, if I'm looking at this team and I'm looking at issues. Rugani and DeShilio, we will get to this and whatnot in terms of how I see everything with this roster. But for me, this is last chance for Kulusevski. And I took some heat for it, because everybody's like, why are you wanting to move this guy? He's so young and all this. And I'm like, because right now, he's not producing. He's not producing. He's not fitting in. And what good is that kid with all this potential if he's not showing it to us and not making it work for us? Well, you have to be patient. Our roster isn't allowing us to be patient if we have capital there that can then be reinvested. That's my 2 cents on it. Now it's time to hear you two break it down. First, do you believe this is last chance for Kulusevski? Second, do you agree with the fact that he's just, in terms of Jat, finding out his level? Let's start with Lex on this.
I think I agree with you in the sense that I think definitely these next months to the end of the season are going to be really important for his future, whether he stays with us or we get rid of him. I think because he's young, it's advantageous because we can probably get something, like you said, good capital for him because he's such a young player. I still haven't seen it yet. I'm not convinced by him yet. And like with Chiesa being out, I think it puts a lot of spotlight on him, either being a winger or attacking player for us that can kind of step up and help try and fill that void. Or maybe like he's just not there yet. Maybe he's not that player for us. Maybe we do need to ship him out and reinvest in a different player. For me personally, right now, I'm not convinced by him, but I mean, he is young, willing to see what he's going to do with this opportunity, because sometimes when some players go out injured, it's an opportunity for other players to step up. But I guess we'll just have to wait to the end of the season for that. But
yeah, Frankie.
I remember the last time I came to the pod, I say we were talking about Max and bringing up young guys, and I said that it's not that Max doesn't want to bring the young guys; he doesn't want to bring them too soon and burn them in the eyes of everybody. And I thought that the Kulusevski was put on that bad spot since the beginning, because if Max was the one bringing in Kulusevski, he wouldn't have played him that much because he's very young. We need to realize the guy is 20, because obviously we talk about a lot about Chiesa, like he's 20. Chiesa is 24. 4 years is a big difference in a football career. He obviously he hasn't played good, and I'll be the first to say it. He hasn't played good, but I just he's so young that it's tough for me to say his plateau. I don't think he has plateau. Just think that last season he was put on a tough spot in the sense that new coach, he's playing different positions. He never got the playing time in the same position that a young guy needs. And this season, new coach, completely new ideas. Yes, he's not playing good. You need to take in consideration that he's 20. If an offer of came of 50 million, you sell the guy no matter what, and you take the money and you try to invest it in the club. But you say, oh, the guy is plateau. He's not good. He's not a Juventus level. I've heard that Juventus level thing a lot of times. I don't want to bring up a certain midfielder from Inter who has said that he wasn't on Juve level and he's playing on the Italian team right now.
Excuse me. I hear you.
So I understand if 40 million dollars come, yeah, you sell the guy, but let's not act like he's a 26-year-old that he's not playing a good level. He's 20, and you see the talent. You see the talent. Now I understand the position thing out, but that's up to the coach to put him on the right spot.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the flip side to that. You've got Ake who stepped in there. And somebody nailed it on the head here in the chat. Said in 15 minutes he showed a true understanding of that position. He plays it differently, much differently. I'm not saying swap Kulu out and just enter Ake immediately, but what I'm saying is he's not making an impact out of any of the positions that we are going to be playing him in. So for that reason alone, and again, yes, I don't think he's plateaued as a player whatsoever. However, if I go up and down this roster of Juventus right now and I pick a name of somebody that's not producing and not doing what's expected or what we should get out of him, he's one of the top. He's one of the top. DeScilio and Rugani, guys that at the start of the season, you're frustrated they're even on your roster. They have not been a problem. They're not a problem. So if we're going into the summer and we're being realistic, if they continue as they have so far this season, they're not an issue. They're not even on the radar. Bernardeschi is a player with a history of fans wanting him gone. He is not on the radar. He's not on the radar for being a problem on this roster right now. So Kulusevski, sure, he could go somewhere. He could develop into whatever he wants. But right now, if you play Kulusevski on our wing, we have better wingers. If you play him in the hole, we have a player that's miles ahead of him in the hole at if we want to play him as a Mezzala, we have better options as Mezzala as well. So he's in this problem where it's like, for us, he's not making sense for us right now. Then you throw in the fact that we need to bolster certain positions. He holds capital. That's why I think he is on the list of if it came down to it, I would move him, because right now McKennie is starting to make his impact felt. And this is what these guys need to do. They need to make an impact. They need to make it a difficult decision. And right now, Kulusevski hasn't. And if he goes somewhere and he develops, and that's great. But where we are right now, I don't think we can wait for that. And I don't think we need to. I think we need that capital more right now in order to bolster other positions, because we talked about it. The youth project right now at Juventus looks quite fantastic. It looks really, really good with what we have up and coming. So I'm not so hesitant on moving him because of those reasons. What do you guys think about that flip side? Lex looks like she's ready to dive in.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, like you said, you bring up a lot of good points about how he's not fitting well with our current squad, like just kind of in between a lot of roles. And I wouldn't be surprised, though, if we did sell him, got money back from him, and then he went on and developed and became a really strong talent at a different club. I wouldn't be surprised. And I know a lot of us like to do that with certain players when they go off to other places and start playing so much better. It's like, we should have kept them. But I think that it's all about the situation. It's about the coach he's playing under. I think, this comment right here. Yeah, like Louis mentioned, that he was a sorry player or meant to be. And so that whole situation, right, depends who you're playing for, who's around you on the team. And as you mentioned, he is still very young, so I wouldn't write him off just yet. But I just think that if he's someone that has value that we can get capital back for and someone we can move out, then I'd be willing to do it.
Yeah.
Question. Luis talk about the Juve mentality. The guy just is, you can say whatever you want, but to say that the guy doesn't run back and defend when he's asked to, when we played against Inter last year, and he was the one assigned to shadow Brozovic up and down the pitch. Let's not act like that. He's not. He doesn't have an attitude problem in the sense that he doesn't want to defend or he doesn't want to contribute. He's not at a good level. I agree. I've said it. I'm disappointed with his performances. Would I sell him? No. I'll loan him because I'm tired of seeing the same story. A Juventus player is sold to another team, does well, and then we have to buy him back. Oh, no. You loan the guy to another team and you try to see if it develops. I'm sorry. A young guy like that, 20 years old, that half of Europe would want to have.
So let's flip this. Let's flip the script here then, Frankie. So if we need capital to make some moves, who's top of your list then of guys to move for Juve?
Well, there are players that you move before Kulusevski. I'm sorry.
Who do you move before Kulu, though? That's what I'm asking.
I'm saying Ramsey and Rabiot before.
Well,
Kulusevski.
okay. Well, Ramsey, that's a given. I mean, I don't even consider him part of the roster, to be 100% honest with you, because we're going to get a bag of peanuts and maybe a energy drink. That's probably it for Ramsey. Like, nothing's coming from that. Rabiot, that's a good shout. Okay. You can go Rabiot because he came free. Rabiot's there. So then who, though?
Who other guys to sell?
Who else would be up there? I honestly, he's amongst the top guys.
Well, if an offer comes for 40 million, which is not going to come, an offer for 40 million for Kulusevski, yeah, of course I saw him. I said it before.
Yeah.
If the amount of money that came last season, we speak about selling McKennie for 40 million. 40 million is a big amount of money. I'm just saying, I wouldn't, if a team comes with 20 million euros and they say, oh, we want Kulusevski, I would say no. You can have it on a dry loan.
But that's a different discussion, though. That's what you're trying to get, right? So obviously the offers and the details are there, but in terms of the depth chart and where he's at the top right now of guys that are still up there. McKennie has started to save himself. So when all those discussions were happening there, McKinney was not. He gave us that half of the season, that first half against Pirlo, and then this season was kind of down until as of late, where he's really found his stride. And naturally he would, because we started playing in a manner where he was a true Mezzala. None of this hybrid nonsense, which I can't stress enough. Keep it simple. Keep it simple with these guys. But the Kulusevski talk, this is great. And we could go on, forever. But we're gonna carry on. We're gonna carry on. That's good stuff, though. DeCilio, Rugani, we've been talking about them, and again, not being a problem. This has been fantastic. Danilo coming back. What were your thoughts on him at center back? Do you have a little bit more? Do you have confidence in playing Danilo at center back just in a pinch, or do you think there could be some more there to free up and give us more flexibility when we kind of get tight at the back there? How do you guys feel about Danilo in that center back position? What do you do with Danilo and Cuadrado moving forward in your version of our top lineup? Lex, why don't you start us here? Actually, you started us up last time.
Yeah.
Frankie, Danilo and Quad.
Cuadrado is going to get the nod, just in the sense that we have been lacking creativity, and he's a player that gives us a lot offensively. And in the Danilo topic on central defense, he played, frankly, on the back three last year. Like, he was playing on the back three, and he was one of the best defenders. I'd say, by performance-wise, he was our best defender, in the sense that he was always consistent and he didn't have a bad game. Maybe one bad game throughout all the season. So yesterday, when I saw the lineup and I saw Danilo on center back, I was like, okay, I've seen it before, and I expect him to do the job. Maybe he's not Chiellini or the leg, obviously, but he's not a bad player to play in that role. So I don't mind it at all. In the sense of the right back, as I said before, he's going to get Cuadrado is going to get the nod just on the offensive volume that he gives Juventus. And if we were having a squad that offensively was very potent, then we could have a different discussion. But right now, we need all the help we can have. And Cuadrado is probably one of our best, not our best assist guy. So,
yeah, Lex.
Yeah, I was reading through some comments. I agree with too, is that Danilo is a very versatile player, and I think he's shown that. I think in terms of him at center back, he played in the back three often last season, and I think that he played well yesterday. I think that probably wasn't tested enough to have a proper evaluation of it, but based off of just yesterday's game. But I think that he can play in the back line as center back or right back, and then we can push Cuadrado up, because as Francisco pointed out, having Cuadrado in the attack is important. I think that he adds so much to our attack in terms of setting up plays, crosses, and stuff like that. So I like that. I think that Cuadrado being able to move into a more attacking role is good for our team.
I'm still not, I don't know. This match against a depleted Samp doesn't necessarily change my mind on Cuadrado, because when we saw him earlier this season back at the wing, I don't know. It's not the same. This one game didn't change my mind on it. I think I still prefer him coming from the back, and it also allows you to put an extra offensive threat up higher in front of them that can also create issues, whether you go 4-3-3, whatnot. Danilo, I'm using Danilo to break up that left side, because I think Sandro's at the bottom of the totem pole. And honestly, if it's me, I'm rotating Danilo and Pellegrini. And DeCilio can even, he's been fine enough to rotate in there, but I'm not all for this quad going straight back up to winger, because in the matches this season, up until this point, he hasn't been impressive at the wing position. So I'm still kind of we can do it. I'm not against it, but it's got to be way better than just this one-off match against Sampdoria there. I don't know. I need to see more of it. I can't just jump on it like that. But I know that's not as entertaining for the reactionary, crowd that may be out there that wants to, bring Landucci in and fire Allegri just like that. And it's not as exciting an answer. But right now, I don't know. I don't think so. I think I see Cuadrado as, he'll give you some issues out of defensively here and there. But in the long run, it gives you another attacking option ahead of him that you can play. And at the end of the day, this team needs goals. If we're wanting Cuadrado up there because of crossing and stuff like that, he can still do that from the fullback position. There's nothing stopping him from crossing the ball at the fullback position. There's still nothing stopping him from taking guys 1v1 out of the fullback position. What it does, though, is it allows you another forward attacking player, and this team needs to score goals. All right. So interesting discussion, though. Seeing a lot of people just want him further up now that Danilo's back, and I totally get it and I understand it. I don't think there's a right or wrong, to be honest. Danilo needs credit, like many have mentioned, on how versatile he is. Same with Cuadrado. A couple of versatile players, having them back is big. Now, we've kind of tackled a lot. We got Kaio and our thoughts on Kaio, and we all feel we kind of need to loan him out. Kulusevski was one heck of a discussion. We're going to get to questions. We need everybody's help because we've been arguing in the group chat about what we're going to call the rapid fire question segment, okay? Because one of our team members just isn't happy with the Storm the Barn session, which was great, coming up by our friend of the show, Peter Balistreri. But Peter, I apologize, we do make group decisions, and if one doesn't like it, we got to figure something out. So let us know what you want the segment to be called. And now is the time to get your questions in, okay, for rapid fire. Just tag them. And Anthony says we are not giving it up. He says it's Storm the Barn. Leave the name alone. Anyways, get your question. And look at this, chat. I love Storm the Barn debate. There you go. Get your questions in here. And real quick, I'm going to pull something up because I want to show everybody. Anth and I were on different sides of this yesterday because he thought that, where was it here? I'm trying to pull it up. I have the tables here. So he figured in the semis, we could be playing either Inter or Milan, but that's not the case. So what I'm going to do is just pull up these brackets so that you can take a look here. I had a feeling that they were on the opposite end of the bracket, and any chance I get to personally tell Anthony he's wrong and I'm right, I will take it. Okay, so here's the evidence. Frankie shaking his head. There you go. So Juventus now awaits the winner of Sassuolo and Cagliari, potentially setting up after we crush either one of those. Come on. After we crush either one of those, semifinal versus Fiorentina and Atalanta. As you can see on the opposite end, you've got Milan that will face Lazio. We are waiting to see who's going to play in the other quarterfinal. Inter will face Empoli. Roma face Lecce. So there you have it. That is what the bracket looks like here. Okay. So I want to get your guys' thoughts on Coppa Italia. Final at minimum. We winning it? Frankie.
The question is how can you have a doubt? Al?
That's
Sorry,
right. I don't have doubts. I didn't say I have doubts.
No, you asked the question, so I'm gonna talk to you in Spanish right now. ¿Qué tú estás haciendo? ¿Por qué tú tienes duda? Claro que vamos a ganar. Of course, we're gonna win. We're gonna win. We're gonna beat Inter in the final 4-0.
Oh, I don't think it's gonna be Inter, but we're gonna be in the final. Lex, any fun little predictions for the Copa? Please don't yell at me in Spanish, Lex.
Do it, Lex. Do it, Lex.
I agree with Francisco. I think that it's going to be Juve in the final. I'm gonna go with Fiorentina is going to end up against us. They're going to beat
So
Atalanta.
Fiorentina knocking out Atalanta, Juve, Fiorentina semifinal. All right.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to go with. And we're going to play. Yeah, I'll go with Inter just so they're always fun to beat. So we're going to beat them in the final.
I
Me
like
gusta.
that. I like that. There you
Like it.
go. There you
I,
go. Okay,
I
so we
have
got a couple of Storm the Barn questions. I love it
go
because
ahead.
they're
Go
keeping
ahead.
it Storm the Barn. So this name change probably isn't going to happen. Who can we realistically get to improve the team? Center back, left back, central mid, winger, striker. So who can we realistically get to improve the team? Again, I would have thought that at this point when Chiesa went down, we had I would have thought at this point we have 25 million euros or 30 million euros because the second Chiesa went down, I would have thought we pounced on a guy like Julian Alvarez. That's just my 2 cents. I've wanted the guy, so obviously I'm biased whatnot, but I would have thought when Chiesa went down, we kind of strike on that move. But I understand why they wouldn't. And that's because it very much looks like this management will not do anything before they sell. Whereas previous guy, what was he doing? He was bringing everybody in and then trying to push guys out. And that didn't work out very well for him or the books, right? So it's a tough one then here, there. But I think Julian Alvarez, he would be a realistic target. Scamacca is a very, very realistic target. Does he make the improvement to the team? I think so. I think Scamacca would help this team. We've got, unfortunately, we talked about some of our forwards. Keane is another one, just not delivering enough, nowhere near what we needed. So, Francisco, realistically for you, who's a target that you think improves this team?
I'm checking out his name because I forgot his name, but I read something about midfielder, the Verona midfielder. What's his name? I'm checking out his name, but I think he will play. He would be a good addition to Juventus. Antonin Barak.
Barak, yeah.
I think that when I read it, I was like, hell yeah,
Yeah.
hell yeah, and the asking price was like 20 million, and that's a guy that first sense improves our midfield, like for real. A player like that, who's I think he's underrated on the league because obviously he plays in Verona, and he has played that a couple of years now in Verona, and he's doing good. He had a great game. His last game was great.
Yeah.
So that's a guy to bring in that instantly helps you a lot because it gives you another midfielder with on the ball skills, talented midfielder. He's not just a defensive guy. He can go forward, he can attack, and he gives you. Obviously, uh, the Scamacca thing, I don't think it's going to happen in January because of the price. Asking price is too high, and I don't believe that
It'll be
Juventus.
summer. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be summer.
Yeah.
But a good midfielder to a price that is not overwhelming and who will perform right away, I'll buy Antonin Barak. I think he's a good guy for Juventus.
Yeah. Barak's a great show. Big physical midfielder, can give you goals too. Lex.
As of who we can get realistically, I'm going with the Scamacca answer. I think we need another striker, especially someone who can play that 9 role and is just a strong, tall aerial presence, physical presence. I think he's been on fire. He's been on a great streak recently of form. And so I think someone like Scamacca helps add a lot to this team. I still think that we need another creative midfielder in this squad. We also need some help setting up in the attack, but I tend to focus on the attack, but I do think that striker and another attacking mid is someplace that we're really lacking right now in our squad still.
Yeah. And it's interesting when you start talking about the midfield because you have Locatelli who can do some damage when move forward, but then you would only have Arthur playing that deep lying role. And then when you put Loca there, then you highlight that desperately that you need a creative guy in the midfield if Loca's playing deep line.
Yeah, I agree.
So a defensive midfielder would be a good call too to
Yeah.
bring in and actually split that, allow Loca to stay there, but then he's still kind of one shy, right? McKennie he can bring you some goals out of the midfield, but it's different style, right? But interesting. Let's go to the next one. Will we ever have a stable starting 11? No guessing game every week. And does this inability affect individual and team performance? This is a solid question. Will we ever is a tough thing because right now there's just so many injuries. The COVID thing that looms around the league and everything. It's tough to say. When you look at this team, slowly but surely, I mean, if we beat Milan on the weekend, we're 4 points away from them. One way or another, however the heck he's doing it, Max has been doing it. The results have been coming. And yeah, if you look at this team, Chiesa's out. Dybala was out for a bit. Danilo's been out for a bit. So it's like we have been just doing makeshift. I mean, look at the suspensions. Let's not even get into the nonsense of some of these rules, with guys having to miss a Supercoppa final because of what happened in the league. And then Coppa Italia Max was banned for something that happened 3 years ago. One of the players because of the Carabao Cup and whatnot. Like it's madness. Okay. But it does, in my personal opinion, affect the team performance 100% because we've talked about some of the shortcomings we have at certain positions, creative midfielder, defensive midfield, whatnot. So when you're always constantly doing this makeshift thing, I 100% think it changes. Look at our most recent performances where all of a sudden the flash is up. Again, Locatelli being moved forward is a big thing. Artur helping control because two of the things we struggled in massively, creating opportunities and ball possession. Those guys instantly help both of those issues. Locatelli in creation, Artur in possession because he's so strong on it. 100% I think it affects team performance. Lex, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I agree. I think it affects team performance. Will we ever have a stable starting 11? I don't think so, just because of, like you mentioned, COVID, injuries. I mean, hopefully, but I think Max still being his first year back too, just trying out things. He had a lot of players missing, especially in December. We had a stretch there. We were missing important players, and he had to kind of make shift and make do with the lineup. But I think it does affect the performance. But I think hopefully if we can get a stretch of games here where we have a solid group that we know is going to be starting, like at least a solid core group of players, then that'll help. But
yeah, Frankie.
It does affect us, but you cannot do anything else. The injuries are coming.
Yeah.
COVID thing is coming all at the same time. The suspensions, the Carabao Cup. Oh my God, the Carabao Cup. We're having all that together, so there's nothing we can do. You have to play the guys that you have available and do whatever you need to do to win. So, does it affect the team? Yes, it can also help players that maybe don't get the minutes usually to be confident in here, and it also helps Max and the coaching staff to know, okay, we have these players that can fit in these positions in the future. Maybe if we are on a situation on a game, we can use this player in this position, or we have more confidence on this player, or give young guys, not that we have played a lot of young guys, but it gives them the chance to play, because in a full squad there's no way that young guys going to play, but maybe in this situation we can explore that. So that's my thing. And I wanted to say also about the last topic, something that I forgot to say. The midfielder from Lyon, Grimaes is his name. That's a defensive midfielder who has some passing range. He's a good option too. I don't think he would come in January because he's 40 million, but he's also a good option for our midfield.
Yeah, that's all great thoughts. Some of these questions are great. Why not play a 4-3-1-2? We were using wingers to give the right position for Chiesa to thrive. Now, no Chiesa. Having 3 midfielders can give balance to the team properly. 4-3-1-2 is just a different variation of the 4-3-3. Just playing one in the hole, almost even like a false 9 can kind of look like a 4-3-1-2. I think any variation of this is what we're going to end up seeing. Even when Max plays his 4-4-2, he has 3 central midfielders. So it is what we are kind of getting, and it just changes again based on who the players are. So in a sense, we kind of are getting this, but I think the straight up 4-3-3 is probably best right now for who we have. You can go a 4-2-3-1, but I do like the stability of the 3 midfielders. I would have to agree. Frankie, what do you think?
Yeah, I would have to agree with you, Al, in the sense that I do like those 3 midfielders, especially if we can play like Arthur Loca, which I don't think is going to happen a lot. Uh, s- but if we could do that, why don't do it? You play that midfield, you have McKennie, Loca, and Arthur in this, and you have that secure midfield. And you also had McKennie, which in yesterday game, one of the big problems of Juventus at the beginning was that uh, forward midfielder, the midfield going forward and attacking the space in the area. I did saw that sometimes we lack that man in the area, and those McKennie runs would have been great because Rabio, he goes forward, but on that left side, and I would like to see that trio on the midfield because it would work especially good.
Yeah.
Um, the 4-2-3 situation, I would say, I don't think it's going to happen because of Dybala. I don't think Max is going to explore a 4-2-3 having Dybala, even though you can play it and don't play like exactly as a 4-2-3 and just give Dybala on that right side the freedom to move centrally. But mm, I don't I don't think it's going to happen. That
Yeah.
4-2-1-2 intrigues me, I have
Yeah.
to say.
Lex.
Yeah, I think someone mentioned in the chat they called it the McArthurelli midfield trio, which was funny. So shout out to whoever mentioned that. But yeah, McArthurelli. Yeah. Shout out to Omar. We give him credit too for this one for pointing out the 4-3-3 with that midfield. And I'm like you mentioned, that formation is a variation of the 4-3-3 pretty much. And
Yeah.
I'm cool with a 4-3-3 with the McArthurelli trio and then Dybala on that right attacking side. And then I still like the 4-2-3-1. It's another formation I think that our team is well suited for. So I think any variation of those you're good with.
Yeah, and I think that just becomes rotational. If you're going to have 2 pivots, Arthur's taking a rest, then you can go Locatelli and, Benta or even McKennie, and you can get away with it, right? But for the most part, I like the 3. Let's go on to the next one. Storm the Barn. Not what we all want, but do you think Max starts Loca and Arthur together against Milan? I don't think it can be denied. And I'm not going to think otherwise. So I'm going to say, hell yeah. Hell
Uh,
yeah, he does.
well, I'm gonna deny it. Eso no va a pasar. He's not. That's not going to happen. I don't think. Frank, I'm sorry. I would like. I would
I
love to
think you're
say.
sorry. You're smiling.
Well, because I'm laughing, seeing your pain. I'm sorry. I'm that's a bad guy. No, I will. I would love to say to you, oh, it's gonna happen. He's gonna play those 3 guys together, but that's not gonna happen. You know it deep down. You know it. Lex, obviously, he's very smart. He knows it.
Come on,
And
Lex. Lex is tiebreaker here.
no, Lex knows. I'm not saying what we want. What
Yeah.
is going to happen?
Hey, put the gun down, Frankie. Okay, let her answer.
I'm pointing
Put
at
the
you,
gun
Al.
down.
I'm
Let's see.
pointing at you. I'm not doing the cliff dance. No, I don't do that. I'll point at you, Al. You see my finger right there in your face. Yeah, but
Lex, your
I don't think.
tiebreaker.
So the question's not what I would do, because I would, but would Max? He has a tendency, a history of some consistent lineup choices,
But
and I
it
don't
can't
know, like,
be denied right now.
no, it can't. It can't. I don't know if it's a good thing that he tried it out against a Sampdoria side like that. I don't know if it means he's going to repeat it for Milan on the weekend. So my heart says that we want him to repeat it, but
The
do I
thing that
think he
scared
will?
me was the 90 minutes of Locatelli, like I said,
Yeah.
against Samp. That's concerning. Frankie, stop it. Stop it.
Doing it like the Grinch.
I still say it can't be denied. Even Max, with all his stubbornness, everything, like they got to be on the pitch.
So you lost. To be clear, you
I
lost.
lost this, but I'm gonna win on
lost.
the weekend when you see
No,
it.
no,
I hope you
that's not-
do. I hope
I
you
hope,
do.
I hope. I want you to win. I want you to be happy.
There we go. Okay. Let's try and sneak a couple more quick ones in here. If we sell Kulu, do we go for Vlahovic or cheaper Skamaka and fill in another whole midfield? So just to generalize this question, not even using Kulusevski, just should this team be opting for Vlahovic or go cheaper in your personal opinion? I'm going to answer. Let's just try and go real quick to try and get a couple. I'm just going to say cheaper options, spread it out. Gun to my head, I say spread it out because we have too many needs. Frankie.
If I would say I agree with you, Al. If the Warwick thing was like when Chiesa wanted to come to Juve, and there's no way he's going to another team, or the Locatelli, in which the team is forced to negotiate with us, then that's another discussion. But I don't think Warwick feels that passionately about coming to Juve. So that's why I would sell just buy Scamaga, who's a great prospect, and just spread out the money
Spread it out, yeah.
and bring out another midfielder that we need.
Yeah. Lex, splash it or spread it out?
I agree with what Francisco said. I think that you can't go wrong with either, but I think it just really depends on Vlahovic's intent. It's hard to pass up a player like that, especially if he's has his sights set on coming to Juve. That would be a different discussion, though, as you mentioned. But I think you can't go wrong with either. So I'm kind of split on this question.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Look, like, I mean, Vlahovic will be special. Give him Dybal's money and move on. Ooh, Vlahovic, I think, is a quick fix. Scamacca, midfielder, is long-term thinking. I don't know.
Which we need.
That's the thing. We need Vlahovic. Scamacca is too big a gamble to build our attacking line on. Would rather sacrifice elsewhere as we need goals. Look, the tough thing is that we have a few needs. I mean, we could get by, but I don't know. I think it's hard when we don't know the financials. By the way, our own Joey Cappuccino's put together an incredible piece on the financials. Once we have this, we'll be able to have a better understanding and idea to maybe tackle these questions a little bit better, because it's really hard. But right now, I mean, I think we would all say, yeah, we want Vlahovic. But I mean, if we're gonna be selling and you got to bring guys in, what are you doing? How big are these band-aids and this patchwork that we're going to be doing in the midfield? Because if Ramsey and Rabiot both go, if we send Kulusevski packing and whatnot, and just bring in Vlahovic,
no,
it's tight. That's tight. That's too tight. So it's a very, very tough one. Now, this was great. Great Storm the Barn session. It looks like the name is staying alive. So sorry, Luca, you lose yet again in the mud. Luca in the mud. Despite an absurd amount of snow out there in Eastern Canada, he is still finding himself in the mud. Okay. Now, fantastic show, everybody. We appreciate all the support. I'm going to remind everybody while you're here just to quickly like the video. Again, if you're tuning into this podcast on audio, get over to YouTube, subscribe to the channel. Okay. And thanks everybody for the support. And I just want to highlight through this Coppa Italia a couple thoughts. One is this team has regained the motivation, the drive, and the fight. That's one thing that's been consistent over these past few games. That is big. It's big for us. And the rest was putting together the gameplay in the performances. We're starting to get that too, based on who is out there. Okay. That's fantastic. A bigger thing too is when you see guys like Ake coming in. Sule's only had a brief cameo. He was great. but you have promising talents like Miretti. We're going to have Rovella coming back probably next season. Rovella Hive, get ready for it. The nice thing is that we actually, for the first time in as long as I can remember, have a very promising and strong like youth program. Like we have a strong program when you start looking at these names and the guys that are coming up. De Winter, I mean, it's fantastic. This is huge. This was all Cherubini. So for those of you that, like Cherubini put together this youth project and he's been working on that and it's fantastic. And we have promising players, guys that we're now looking at potentially making that jump in next season. The following one, Fagioli is another name. Guys, it's looking fantastic. We haven't had that in a very, very long time. So Cherubini is taking a lot of heat for transfer stuff that it's out of his control because he's taking over from the previous guy. Sure, he was a part of it, but Cherubini's biggest thing is this youth project, and it's incredible right now. It is the strongest I have ever seen out of Juventus. So everybody that's doubting maybe the project, where we're going, anything like that, don't look any further than our youth project because all of a sudden that's going to help our finances big time because even if you can utilize 1, 2 of these guys coming up, that frees up so much money in salaries, saving transfer fees and whatnot. So I very much can see where Juventus is going and it looks very, very strong. Is there anything you guys want to touch on in terms of the youth project, these prospects, anything as we kind of wrap up this episode?
I said that Juventus is a top tier team in Europe in name and brand, but we cannot compete with the top players, top teams economically. We cannot. The way to go is to get those guys before they explode, develop them, do a good, like we said back in Puerto Rico, una finca, a farm, a system in which young players could develop. So we only need to go out to buy on the positions that are dearly that we need. Like go buy if we need a right back, then go buy that right back. Buy need, no buy stardom. We cannot compete with City and PSG or even other Premier League teams. They have more money. So we need to develop our players more, and going this route is going to be better. Maybe it's slow now.
Yeah.
But on the long run, we're going to have a good core in which we can continue to add young players to develop themselves and to slowly come up and be part of the team, which is the goal.
Lex, anything to touch on?
Not much to add to what you both said, other than that I agree with that. I think that having a good youth system is advantageous for our team, especially as you mentioned with the kind of economic disparity now between those like super wealthy clubs and our clubs. And so I think that definitely, and I think speaking of our youth program and everything, shout out to Marquisio for his birthday today. I'm wearing his jersey. I think someone in the chat asked earlier. But yeah, it's my Marquisio kit, so I had to wear it, of course. But yeah,
don't get. It's her moment, Al. It's her moment, Al. Don't be copying.
Frankie, put the gun down, man. We're at the end of the show, man. The gun needs to be blazing at the start, okay?
Come on.
So here's some of the, and Dan's coming in here saying anyone playing on U23 will never be Juve starting material. And this is just a feeling, again, I can understand because you've seen for so long what Juventus has actually done, which is next to nothing with the youth project and stuff like that. But I mean, again, it's never been this strong. So we will have to see how they do, what they do with it and how they utilize it. But we can hope for change. But everybody is right. We have to start integrating them at some point. But again, I think it falls a lot on the player, what they offer, who they are, and you don't want to rush guys. You also don't want to delay guys too long. So I think we could still do a little bit better in terms of that, but let's just wait and see. For now, let's enjoy the fact that we have a lot of these promising kids, and let's see what develops. Again, this whole project thing, I think Juve has been kind of just dipping their toes in the water a bit, but it's time to really dive in. They need to realize all this talent that they have, and we'll see what it has. And like I said, in the future, this can mean a lot of positive things for Juve. It's never negative to have this much talent at the youth level, because again, sure, some can be bargaining chips, others can be integrated into the squad. In the long run, it's all money and it's all gravy and all helps us. And when you've been doing business for a while and you start eating contracts and you start getting a roster of guys you can't move, this is what saves you. Not right away, but like Francisco says, in a couple of years, you could be set and you could be laughing. So again, it's a fantastic project that I think Cherubini needs much, much more credit for. And I really, really am happy seeing it. That's it. That's it for this episode. Again, great win in the Coppa Italia. Everybody get ready. I'm already ready for it this weekend. Milan and Juve. Frankie's got the guns out, okay? It's going to holster them for now, but on the weekend, we're all going to be ready, fired up. Milan, okay? We are going to have some guests joining us, and one might just be a Milan fan. Make sure you join the live chat and let's give them the gears, okay? Let's really put them through the ringer, because Juve is going to put that team through the ringer and get the W, okay? Big match this weekend. Match Day Live, you know where to find us, okay? It'll be here on the match day morning, 8:30 a.m. Eastern. We'll have another panel, and we're going to tackle that one and get you hyped up for it, okay? Everybody, one last reminder, like the video. If you're new, subscribe to the channel. Everybody that enjoys the content, all we ask is that you share the content, okay? And continue to spread the word, spread the love, and let's continue to grow this community, okay? Thank you for everybody who's also creating new accounts on Twitter and jumping on and following all of us and joining in the discussions that are there, okay? Thanks, everybody. Fino alla fine. Forza Juventus. Ciao tutti.
Thanks, everyone.